Howdy ho everyone, my name is CL and welcome to Overwatch, I guess. Currently we are in the precipice of the release of Overwatch 2, which is actually coming out in less than a week. And I wanted to take one final look at the original Overwatch since I do have such a deep connection to it. I played it for a lot of years and I have a lot of memories attached to it. And Overwatch, the original, will go offline on October 2nd, I believe. So before that, I wanted to go ahead and log in into my account one final time to look at some of the things that I might have missed, some of the like memories that are probably going to be wiped up from from existence as soon as Overwatch 2 releases, because it'll have a different UI and basically everything. I mean, Overwatch 2 isn't super different from Overwatch 1, but a lot of the things that made Overwatch 1 different from it are going to be wiped out completely by the time of Overwatch 2's release or redone in a certain way. So I wanted to go ahead and, take a quick look at Overwatch in its original state. I've been logged into Overwatch in a good 4 years or so. It's been around that long, I think so. 2019 maybe was the last time I logged into Overwatch, which Overwatch released in 2016, right? That's when the beta came out. I should have probably done some of the research beforehand. Here, actually, let's open up this and take a look at some Overwatch wiki stuff. Overwatch wiki, so I can track my dates down to a better time, since I've never been very good at that. Let me actually take a look at the official wiki. The Overwatch released officially on 2016, but I believe the beta was around late 2015, which I was not a part of. And if 2016 that's when it released, then let me count them in my head. First Halloween event, second Halloween event. So I played for at least 3 Halloween events in my mind. This is how I'm calculating this. So it must have been around 2019. It must have been 2019 exactly when I stopped playing Overwatch for new minutia reasons, honestly. Might get into that for now. But I haven't logged into Overwatch in a very long time. It looks exactly the same. Let me actually take a look at some of these menus. Yeah, this is exactly the same. Season 36! Jesus Christ! I think I stopped playing around season 20 or so. That's ridiculous. Quick play arcade. Does it have the same game modes? I used to play arcade so viciously back in the day. Petra Deathmatch. Deathmatch I loved. Tribute 3 Elimination. Lunar Brawls. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's something different. Maybe I do know what that is. But around the time that I stopped playing, early 2019 or maybe late 2019, I don't remember. The game was already kind of dying, so I feel like I probably didn't miss that much stuff. I did miss a few hero releases. Where do we look at training? Yeah, training, another tutorial. I'm glad that I can access that though. Let's do practice range. I haven't touched Overwatch in a few years, so this is gonna feel a little weird to begin with. But let's see. I believe the last hero that I was around was Sojourn. Nope. Sojourn is the new girl. Baptist here. I barely play them, so as you can tell, I don't remember the names. But I believe there were a few heroes added after that. Like Echo here. And this guy. Sigma. Yeah, Sigma. I remember these two. I still watched the cinematics and stuff around that time, so I remember them coming out, but I don't think I ever tried them. And by the time that Baptiste came out, I wasn't playing the game that much anymore. I remember I logged in after like maybe a few weeks of not being logged into Overwatch to be like try out the new hero, and that was I think the last time I ever opened up Overwatch. And for Echo and Sigma, I don't think I ever touched those at all. How do I get out of here? Yeah. Let's leave game for a second. I kind of want to just talk over here in the main area so we can hear a bit of the music even though it's not currently playing. Let's see my levels. Can I do that from here? I pressed tab, didn't I? I forgot how to access. Was it escape? Career profile? There we go. Here we go, baby. Wow. All game modes? Is this not updated? Games 1. All modes. I feel like this is incorrect, because I remember this being way bigger. Was there an update? Time played 532. I don't know if like something changed, but I remember last time I checked time played, it was way over this. I remember that very distinctly because I remember when they added the the option to check your playtime. I had a discussion about it with friends at a time about how look at how long you've been playing that kind of thing, and I remember being pretty close to 1,000 hours or even past that. Um, they also changed the way that the leveling looks here. I have one of these. Does that mean 1,058? I am silver. I think that means that I'm silver framed. Whatever. Okay, I'm just going into specifics here for absolutely no reason. Let me start from the beginning. I believe I started playing Overwatch right at the release of the 2016. Yeah, that's exactly when it was. 2016 Halloween event, which was the first time the Halloween had ever happened. I had only missed one previous event. It was the Summers event, because I believe Overwatch released around the summer of 2016, fully officially, not including the beta. And I didn't get to own it for a little while, for a variety of reasons. I've talked about this in the streams before, but I am not much of an online gamer kind of thing. I grew up, on a Super Nintendo back in Mexico, where I was raised, and it wasn't specifically because of that, but I was a bit of a loner growing up. I was bullied a lot and that kind of thing, and I never really wanted to interact with people. So the idea of like going home from a stressful day of school or interacting with people to play with more people online was never appealing to me. So I never grew up on MMOs or RTSs or any form of online multiplayer games, any classic, like Maple Stories or whatever the heck my other friends played growing up. I never did anything like that. And I never had much interest in doing it. I mean, I didn't look down on it or anything, but I never had much interest in it because to me, gaming was a way to escape, and single player experiences were the best way for me to get that. I would play a lot of Mega Man, Sonics, I've played a lot of platformers, I've played a lot of video games in general, a lot of single player experiences, a lot of indie games, a lot of that kind of stuff growing up. And yeah, I did dabble, I did touch the occasional TF2 match, it was free for a long time, so I went in there and I played a little bit, but I never, like, I never followed a game super closely, specifically an online game, until Overwatch. And even Overwatch, I came in, I wouldn't say late, I only came in like 3 months after its official release or so. So that was still pretty in the hype of Overwatch's dominance of like public perception in the mainstream or whatever when it came to like the gamer sphere. I just said a bunch of words there, but I had never followed a game with a huge fan base with multiplayer aspect online kind of thing, that basically dominated the industry and dominated all video game related conversations for such a long time. Oh, Heidi Zhao. Until Overwatch came out, I was the first time I ever did anything like that, and I was obsessed with Overwatch. If I go back to the beginning, I have a friend. I've mentioned them before. They were actually on the over here. It says that they were online 4 days ago doing who knows what. But my friend Ojimi on here actually bought me this as an early Christmas present. I wanted it because I'm into superheroes, and the gamer sphere was being so dominated by Overwatch conversations at the time. So those two things made me really want to get into it. I really like superheroes, classic like Marvel's, DC superhero comic books. I've read a lot growing up, and Overwatch was just a game about superheroes with iconic, cool designs and like a world that I found really appealing. And they had those beautiful CG animated trailers that everyone would go crazy about back in the day. So like I really wanted to give it a shot, and also like every single other person that I knew was playing it. So I asked my friend, "Hey, can you buy me this as a Christmas present?" And they did. They bought it for me. I They bought it for a few other friends of mine at the time, and I remember sucking at the game really badly for a long time because I not only do I not have experience with online multiplayer games, but also I didn't have experience with first-person shooters that much. I played a few single-player experience first-person shooters, but I hadn't played that many, so I really like needed to get my head around the whole point and click mouse aspect of this game. And that took me quite a little while to get used to. Honestly, I never became super good, but I definitely became a lot better than most of my friends. I also kept playing it for a lot longer than most of the people that I started playing with. But I remember those first few months really vividly, because everyone I knew was playing it. Uh, all my close friends, all friends that I didn't even talk to as much anymore, were all playing it. People that I didn't know that much were all playing it. It was at a point where if you went to the online thing, which I don't even remember how to access in here, is it like this? Statistics, achievement, player icons, replays? Nope. I thought you pressed tab, but I might misremembering. Uh, there's a button in here somewhere that social. There it is. All right, there's a button to access. But I remember so vividly that those first few months, this entire thing here was filled with people, like constantly playing. Overwatch, Overwatch, Overwatch. Oh my God, here's some names. Hey, look, it's Capo. uh, but yeah, I remember this whole thing was filled with people, and it was pretty ridiculous. Um, and it kept going for a really long time, more than anything else I've ever played in my life that became huge as it came out. And a lot of other people in my close vicinity, a lot of my friends started playing at the same time. Usually those things only last like maybe 3 to 4 months, but Overwatch lasted like a year. There was a full year of it dominating not only the mainstream gamer sphere, but also like my personal real life friendships. Not everyone did nothing but talk about Overwatch, and they were online for a long time, for probably like 4 to 5 months. Everyone I knew was playing it, and then people started dropping off. But there was still quite a lot of people for like up to a year, and it was really exciting because I've never had that before. I've never experienced that with anything else in my life, or even afterwards. I've never experienced that. The closest I've ever gotten it is like currently with Splatoon 3, but even that, not all my friends are playing, and it only just came out like 3 weeks ago. But with Overwatch, it was a long time. And then eventually, after a few months, yeah, people started dropping, but there were still like my friend Ojimion, my friend Kuma, and a few other stragglers there and there. We used to play so much stupid Overwatch. We used to play it every day, and I played it obsessively because I've never had experienced anything like this before. So for a few years there, and specifically towards the beginning, all I ever did was go to school, come back home, and get on Overwatch and play it till midnight or 4 a.m. Midnight. I'm giving myself too much credit there. I played till 4 a.m. and then going to bed, and then going to school, and then I did that over and over and over and over and over for like 3 years or so until it started dwindling down. And specifically towards the beginning, when everyone else I knew started playing, and I remember those season 2, season 3 days really vividly. There it is. The game is currently at season 36, which is ridiculous. And I think this might have rebooted at some point, but I don't know. 36 seems ridiculous. I think around the time that I stopped playing was around season 20 or so, but I did mention that earlier. Here, let me get in here and start moving around, because like I said, this game is going to be deleted from the existence sometime soon. So I want to go ahead and try to get some movement in there, some good gameplay, so I can remember what it was like. Originally, I don't know what I'm jumping topic to topics here. I probably should have tried to structure this a little bit better. But the heroes that I graduated the most to was Tiba and Pharah. Mostly because I didn't know how to aim. And you don't need to aim to play Tiba and Pharah. That's, that ain't how it works. Pharah's a rocket shooter. You just shoot your rockets. And Pharah, she has such a little blasty spread that you kind of just have to point in the general direction of your head. And also, you're a tank, so you can like tank damage. But they did rework Tiba, so she might not even work in the same way that she used to. Pharah looks exactly the same though. Whee! But yeah, I'll move around here a little bit. But those first few months of Overwatch were pretty magical. But I mean, it only continued to be magical for me because I had a lot of aces when it came to Overwatch. A lot of my friends played it because it was the biggest game of the time. It was the most well-known thing. Everything was dominated by it. At least in the first few years, the first 2 years or so. And specifically at the beginning, a lot of like Let's Players and general gameplay people that I used to watch, I could still rocket jump, baby. Like change from overall general streamers or video producers to specifically Overwatch creators. Everyone I knew did it. Even the people who didn't specifically just start focusing entirely on Overwatch would make Overwatch videos. You know, you couldn't escape it at the time. And there were so many, like, generally pretty iconic Overwatch content at the time that is so memorable to me. To look back, there were those donkey videos that were super big and always hit the front of the page whenever they came out. They did this for a while, but for me specifically, I watched a lot of Muselk, Basagasa, Silbrad, that general subsphere of Overwatch creators, and I watched them pretty religiously for a really long time. Music eventually became a Fortnite creator, and that's fine, because I watched that as well, even though I didn't play Overwatch. Sorry, I didn't play Fortnite. But I don't know. It's weird to reminisce about those times. Can you break these? I remember you being able to break these, but maybe it wasn't these, and maybe it wasn't in this specific area. But whatchamacallit, I'm kind of losing my train of thoughts here. I'm talking about too many things, but I don't know. I just had such a good time those for a few months. But eventually, after my friend Kuma and my friend Ojimion, they started getting bored of Overwatch, like around a year or so in, for a menagerie of reasons that I'll probably get into a little later on. This is probably not going to be that long of a stream. I'm just mostly here to give the game a final look at and give my account a final look at, since it's going to be deleted forever. Whatchamacallit, in around a week or so, with the release of Overwatch 2, and I should probably get that out of the way. I am not really interested in playing Overwatch 2. I am not going to play it. I gave up on this game a long time ago for you know, multiple reasons that I said I'll get into, but the game is releasing in around a week, and there are some controversies around them that I might talk that are super interesting to me. But as far as playing Overwatch again, I don't think I have the time for that. I didn't have the time back then, but I still wasted it playing this game religiously for a super disgusting amount of time. But I am gonna die. But whatchamacallit. But you know, I still played it because it was so obsessive. It was just so fun, you know. Whatchamacallit. So I'm not really interested in Overwatch 2. I'm definitely not gonna play it upon its release. I don't have room in my life for a game like this. Even if Overwatch 2 ends up being great, I just don't have that time anymore. I'm not that young. I'm not old. I'm only 25, but I'm not young enough to be able to waste all of my time doing this. You know, I have things that I want to achieve, and I can't have a game like this overrun my life, you know. I'm barely playing Splatoon 3 as it is, but I'm playing it, you know. Maybe when the PvE for Overwatch releases, I'll give that a shot, because honestly, when Overwatch 2 was first coming into the view of public, you know, when they first publicly announced the game and whatnot, they announced it as a PvE sequel, an NPC-based story mission kind of thing with, like, you know, dialogue and cutscenes and all that stuff, and that was super exciting to me because I was always a very big fan of Overwatch lore. I was one of those fans, specifically one of those fans, honestly, because I was obsessed with these characters, and I read all the comics, and I watched all the reveal trailers, and I studied all those, you know, I would actively, here, let's see if I can actually find that still. If you go overwatch.com, not the fandom page, Overwatch here, every single time a new character would be released, I would do a ritual. First, I would follow it deeply with the YouTubers that I watched, Stylosa, the other ones that would specifically focus on doing news based around Overwatch. Some of these people, like Stylosa, who was the most well-known one, still do that to this day. They still make Overwatch-related news content, even though that game has completely plummeted in the public opinion, and also like completely plummeted in relevance. So people don't really watch that stuff anymore. But honestly, prompts and juice to Stylosa for not jumping ship and becoming like a Fortnite news channel. But every single time a hero would be released, I would follow the breadcrumbs that they would leave up to the release. I would watch the story little thing that they would do in the YouTube channels. Let's see if I can find those. They actually did a few of them recently for the Overwatch 2 characters that are coming out soon. But yeah, they would release a origin story little trailer not to be confused with the CG animations, which were different. These mostly just went around and focused on the character's backstory and told you a little bit about who they were. In these, CG like drawings, put together to with some like narration over the top of it. And they would also usually release this next to a new hero gameplay trailer, which showed you what the hero was going to play like, what they were going to do, all those things. But they would also update the website to reveal some little details. Usually they did this the exact same time as Overwatch, or sometimes a little bit before. So you could go in here and let's say, which one do I remember very vividly? Let's go Anna. She was the first DLC or first hero to be added into Overwatch. And in here, not only did you have the movements, their skill sets, their what's the term? They're just set of movements or whatever that you could actually do in game. They're mechanics. But you would also have a story thing that a lot of the times had information that you wouldn't get in the origin story things. And I would read these vividly. I would like write these down. I would try to piece things together between the other characters and the breadcrumbs given to us by the developers and the content in game and stuff. I was just really obsessed with Overwatch lore, even though it actually never ended up leading anywhere. They also had these, which I always thought were super cool, where you could just click around and see what specific ability did in game. A lot of the times before they were fully revealed, and then once they were revealed, a lot of the times, because I was following it so obsessively, a lot of the big YouTubers would get first access to a lot of the characters, so I knew how they played a lot of the times before they were officially released, because I would watch that stuff, but I would still come in here at the release of a quote-unquote like new hero. Here, let me use my ultimate. I haven't done that in a long time. Woo, that feels good. I would come in here, I would choose the new hero, and would just look around and then play and see what they did, and then you would do quick play. You would do that basically every like 4 months or so. There would be a new quote unquote like hero announcement. Yeah, there were a lot of them back then. Go back to my main timeline of my personal experiences with Overwatch. Let's do this. I haven't played you in a long time. Can I still climb walls good? I used to be so good at this. I was thinking that like a lot of this would like leave me because it's been 3 years since I've touched this game. But honestly, it sure hasn't. It sure hasn't. This still feels very, whatchamacallit, like very muscle memory for me, which is interesting. But, whatchamacallit. Around the time that a few of my friends started dropping out, I still kept playing it for around a few months by myself, vividly every day after school, because I was obsessed with the game. And even if my friends, I have a tendency, and I do this with a lot of things, that when my when there's something going on that a lot of my friends are playing, I will get into it late, and like maybe a month or so later than they will, and I will play with them for a little while, a few months, and then they will drop it, and then I will continue to play it by myself for a long time afterwards, because I get a lot more obsessive with things than most of the people that I know IRL. But whatchamacallit. I did that with Overwatch. I played it for a good few months after most of my friends had dropped it. Well, after all of my friends had dropped it, I played it by myself vividly. How do I change? There we go. You press shift. Thank you. I guess a lot of it has left me. Oh man, I'm dead. I'm dead. Can I save myself? Can I still save myself? No, I can't still save myself. I'm not good at the video game anymore. But yeah, I kept that going for a long time. I played a lot of competitive. I followed the community. I was still watching a lot of YouTube videos at the time because a lot of them were still being produced. And I just did that. I would come home from universities, college, or whatever, and just play Overwatch with myself until midnight or until like later in the day. I watch a lot of Overwatch content. My life was kind of consumed by Overwatch, and you know, I was kind of cringily in the fandom, not as much as a lot of other people, but like, I followed a lot of Twitter accounts. I would like see some. I didn't have a Tumblr. I never really had a Tumblr, but like I would look at some Tumblr pages and I would follow some of the drama and some of those fandom wars or whatever that are always interesting to follow. Not that none that are coming to me specifically, but I don't know. It was just fun. That's what it was at the time. And this must have been around 2017 that I did this. And around 2017 is when Overwatch kind of changed for me. Not the game itself, but the way that I interacted with it specifically. Career profile here. Let me leave game. Let me real quick go back to the social thing here. Around, this is kind of cringe and I'm not gonna get into it, but around 2017 or so, I met a few people through Overwatch. One of them, which I ended up dating for a long time, for around a year and a half or so. I had an Overwatch girlfriend. I'm not going to get into that because it's a completely different story. But along with my Overwatch girlfriend came like a big group of people that I would constantly play with. And even though most of my real life friends had completely dropped the game at the time, I was enjoying Overwatch the most that I had ever enjoyed Overwatch around this time. Because I had met so many people, and it's always exciting to meet people online. There's a sense of, I don't know, like, there's a sense of real, pure excitement because you don't know this person IRL, and not only is it cool to meet someone for the first time and try to get to know them and grow a friendship with them, but it's also, when it's an online person, there's an extra added sense of like coolness because it's like, oh, it's an online internet person. Woo! And I had a lot of them. I met a lot of people through this. My ex, IL here, who I met IRL and I talked to a million times. There was Blue Touch. There was the cowboy. I forget his name. There was a guy who had a big southern accent and he had a very handsome accent, honestly. Who knows what he actually sounded like. But Ezra, who's my ex's ex, MK Riley, Mr. Insanity. Who else is around here? I don't know. There's a lot of them. Watermelon. Oh, I know who that is. But I don't know. There were a lot of them, and we would play pretty regularly. And for the first time since the beginning of Overwatch, those first few months, up to that year where I had a few friends to play with for a long time, I finally had Overwatch friends again to play, competitive and quick play and like mess around with and like interact with on Discord and stuff. It's the closest I've ever had to an online group of friends. I mean, I wouldn't say the closest. I straight up had a Discord group of friends or whatever with servers and all that cringe. But yeah, I did that for a long time. I played with them for around a year or so, which was really exciting. Like I said, I ended up meeting one of them IRL. There were at least 3 of us, or 4 of us if you count me, I guess, that would play basically every day. Me, my ex, IL, and the cowboy guy. We basically be every day for months. It's so weird to think about that now because I don't have access to them in any way these days. Because of some drama that happened that I'm not gonna get into, which has to do with me breaking up with my ex. But but it's weird to think that I don't have access to how they sounded. Like, I never got to see a lot of these people IRL. I met one of them IRL, and I remember what he looked like. I have a picture of him or somewhere. But I don't know. It's interesting and a little sad to think about the fact that like, I don't remember what they sound like exactly, and I will never have access to that again, which comes with growing up. That happens with real life people as well. You've let go of them and you forget those kind of things, but I have a lot of memories. We did a lot of things together. We played a lot, My friend IL specifically, it was always funny because his name is my name, but with an A at the beginning. So we would come in together a lot of times as a duo and competitive. And people would ask us, oh, CL and IL, where's BL? We had that line constantly, which is such a stupid joke. But like so many people would automatically make that connection that our names were one letter apart, and they would immediately go to the, oh, where's BL? I should make a BL, I should make an account called BL just for the remembrance of that. But I got to meet him IRL, which was really cool. He lives up in LA. We met up for an anime expo. My ex was supposed to be there for that, but they didn't, and because they weren't real and they catfished me. Don't worry about it. But I met IL IRL with a few of my friends, and that was really cool. Honestly, I remember them saying that, and excuse my wording, we were like messing around and we walked quite a while because they worked at a kind of fancy burger place not nearby. It was actually kind of far away. But they took us there to give us a nice free meal, and I remember them saying, wow, you're just as much of an asshole as you are on the internet. Which I thought, was really funny. What they meant by that is I'm just as sarcastic and like over the top jokingly as I am on the internet IRL, which is fun to hear. And they were pretty similar. They were shy because it was a group of my friends and just him. But I don't know, that it was a really good memory for me. But eventually, well, I don't know, maybe I'll get to that into a second, but those few months, that year and a half or so, from around 2017 to all the way to like beginning 2019, where we were playing, where I was playing with them basically every day, were some of my most like treasured video game experiences. It's the closest I've ever had to, I meet a lot of people who talk about their experiences with MMOs or other game franchises, Splatoon or Maple Story, cringe, but World of Warcraft, that kind of thing. And Final Fantasy 14 is a perfect example of that, where they'll talk about meeting people and having these communities and playing vividly and loving not only the game and the community around the game, but the people they've met through there. And Overwatch, and specifically those few times with my ex and the few the people around there, like IL and stuff, that year or so, is the only time in my life that I've ever had something like that. So I remember it very fondly, and I cherish it a lot in my mind. But like all things come to the end, Overwatch started being a bad game. And the public perception of Overwatch kind of flipped. And also because of what happened with me, when I stopped talking to my ex and all that other stuff, I kind of stopped talking to them to begin with. Before that, actually, I do want to mention a few stories that I had specifically with which the Overwatch theme was playing, but it's not. I don't know. There's something so insane about the incredible popularity that Overwatch had and the chokehold that it had on mainstream, like, just media and like just gamer, like I don't know, subculture or whatever. As far as gamer culture, it was up in front as one of the most beloved and talked about things for such a long time, like 3 years. This game, nobody shut up about it, And then like year 4, it plummeted and died around the time that I stopped playing. But I have so many vivid memories of going to conventions, and I used to go to conventions a lot, and like just meeting people in elevators or escalators, lines, and seeing they had Overwatch like stickers or bags or enamel pins or whatever, and immediately being like, hey, do you play Overwatch? And just talking to so many people IRL about Overwatch and like, who do you main? Oh, do you play this? Are you a competitive player? Do you follow these YouTubers? Who's your favorite hero? Do you follow the story? What do you think about this? And I had that experience a lot. I've never had it with anything else. I had it constantly. So much so that I remember I met YouTubers. I met a few YouTubers that I was a fan of who didn't make gaming content, who didn't talk about these kind of things. And while I was meeting them, we would talk about Overwatch. We would be like, dude, you play Overwatch? What's your main? I remember very vividly. There's a channel called SourceFit that doesn't exist anymore. That I used to follow really vividly and like had a big effect on who I am as a person. I met the ex like director who wasn't even involved in like they were in some videos, but like they weren't like the personalities behind the channel, but I knew who they were. I met the director of SourceFed because he was trying to make a board game, and he we were like testing it out and he really liked us, so we talked a lot, and I met him through multiple conventions. He was a really nice guy. And the first time that we met him, we sat there and like just talked to him and talked about his game for 3 hours. And we talked to other people came in and tried to pitch them into the games, which me and a friend of mine, who I also played Overwatch with a lot, but he quit pretty closely. He loves board games. So we would do that a lot. We would like join for people who are trying to get board games up and coming, and we would sit there and we would like help them pitch their games. We would like bring people in and be like, dude, you gotta play this game, we'll play it together, dude, it'll be sick. So we like sat there for like 3 hours for multiple days. And I remember we were talking about SourceFed, we were talking about this, and then his wife said, oh yeah, I want to get home and play Overwatch. And I was like, Overwatch? Let's talk about Overwatch. And then we talked about Overwatch for hours, about who you main and who you play with and what do you do. And they were telling me, oh yeah, I play with these other YouTubers, that kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, that's super cool. It was so stupid. Like, Overwatch ruled my life for years, you know? It was the only thing I played. It was the only thing I talked about. Not really. I wasn't that, overbearing with it. But like, I had friends. I had Overwatch friends in Overwatch. Every single place that I would go to would have immense Overwatch, saturation. I used to go to Animex, but you went to Animex for 2 years. Animex had a giant Overwatch booth set up there by Blizzard, that you could go to and buy the official Blizzard merch there in the same way that you would a fan gamer at a convention, if that gives you a good example. And like, it was just such a big thing. So many Overwatch cosplayers, they dominated the cosplay scene for years. You couldn't go at a convention without seeing like a million, Overwatch boys, a million Soldier 76s. Where is he in this picture? Where the heck is Soldier 76 in this picture? One, two, is Overwatch, is Soldier 76 is not in this picture. Wow, that's funny. But you would see Soldier 76 is an easy complex cosplay. I saw quite a lot of Mercies. I saw some Bastions. I remember they weren't great. The overwhelming amount of goddamn what's his name here? Why is that not coming to me? Hammer down, man. Here, I'll check the thing again. Here you go. Reinhardt, thank you. Yeah, fake Overwatch fan. I saw like, you would think that Reinhardt would be a really difficult cosplay to pull off, which it is, because you have to actually build armor. But I saw around 6-7 Reinhardts in my like cosplay going career. Different Reinhardts decked out with different skins and whatnot. Also, I actually logged in today. Apparently, I had 72 loot boxes on open, and they opened them for me because, which sucks. It would have been fun to just do a few Overwatch pulls for my final game today, but they just opened them for me, which is BS. Let's see. Where do I look through? Hero Gallery? Oh, I could have just looked in here. I completely forgot. Hey, look at that. I have nothing for Echo. Wow. Let's look at some of these legendary skins. I never played Echo. So it makes sense. Echo only has 3 legendary event skins. That's interesting. I never touched her. Maybe I should before I end the episode today. I also never really touched Sigma over here. Skins, you got anything cool? And some pretty decently cool skins. I have a lot of skins in this game, as you can tell. There were points in this game. I was just talking about that earlier, actually. Echo and Sigma released after I stopped playing Overwatch. They're the only 2 heroes that I have no like playtime in. And apparently I own a few Sigma cosmetics, which is interesting. But I was so obsessed with this game, and I spent real life money to get loot boxes and stuff, that there were points in this game's career in like the first 1 or 2 years where I had every single cosmetic, For like characters, they were their bars here would be completely filled with every cosmetic for like most of the characters, because I played this so religiously, you know. But yeah, that is what it is. um Anything else I really want to talk about before I talk about like my downfall in Overwatch? I guess there are a few things. Is there any way that I can access the comic books? um Esports events, heroes game. Let's see, if I look up Overwatch web comics, to be able to come in. Is it down in media? Oh, some of these I don't think I've read. No, I read this. Think. New Blood 5 of 5. I definitely haven't read that. Oh, there's stuff in here that I haven't read. Interesting. But from, let's say, here all the way, I've read that. This, I'm not sure about these. No, actually, I think the last one I might have read was this Retribution, for the Retribution event. Now that I think about it, because I don't remember reading multiple part storylines. I might actually read these now. I didn't know they kept releasing comic books. I guess that's how far off in the community I am now that I don't really look at these anymore. But I love the comics. I love the short stories. I haven't read most of these because they didn't release a lot of these till later, I'm pretty sure. But I followed the lore of Overwatch so vividly for so long that I knew here. If we look at the Symmetra comic, let's go towards the end. This one is, I believe, about the LuxCorp Corporation. I believe that's what it was called, right? LuxCorp. I like remember the stupid freaking organizations from the game. I remember the Mexican gang, I forget what they're called, the El Dorado people. I forgot the terminology for that. I remember the corporations like LuxCorp and Talon and like whatchamacallit, the band of not pirates, but the band of KPDP gangsters that Cole Cassidy over here, even though there still says McCree, the Cole Cassidy over here like worked for the Deadshots or whatever, something like that. Like I was so obsessed with it for so long that like I remember I would watch lore videos and people being like, this is connected to this. Let's talk about Australia and how it's like a wasteland, and let's talk about like Korea and the giant Obnik that like comes out of the ocean and attacks or whatever, that isn't in any of the game stuff. But but like it's there, you know. But it's like it's part of the lore, and that's why Diva is like a gamer girl, because she works for a squad of other divas who are like, you know, mech riding Neon Genesis Evangelion style fighters who are also pro gamers, and they live stream their fights against the giant Obnik Godzilla thing that comes out of Korea. I might be misremembering a lot of this lore, but I'm pretty sure I'm correct about all of this. This is real Overwatch lore, you know. And about the scavengers of Australia, where the Junker Queens, the Junkers, that's the name of them, like Mr. Boy here, whose name is not coming to me, whatchamacallit, like Junkrat and the other guy, Roadhog, who are like a duo, but one of them hates the other, and they work for the Jonker Queen because apparently going to be in Overwatch 2. I remember all this stuff so stupidly and vividly because like it meant so much to me, and it never ended up meaning anything because I was always so excited for it to mean something, for it to like, you know, for eventually to be like a comic book or a TV show or something, like the way they talked about they would, or a PvE event, more than the archive events that like had the in-game archive events where they did some lore stuff and actually had cutscenes and stuff. And like it all meant so much to me, and it was like a comic book. It was like you're reading comic books, and I've read comic books and I'm obsessed. I'm not really anymore, but I was obsessed with reading like Marvel and DC, and I even picked up Image comics back in the day, you know. It literally is a comic book universe where things are tied together loosely, by certain plot threads like the Omnic Crisis and the interference of like Talon and the Dark Overwatch team that whose name is not coming to me, where they focused on cooperative missions that was ran by Reaper Reyes back then, blah 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 blah. Like these are Avengers plot lines, you know? These are literal Marvel Universe Avengers plot lines where yeah, Overwatch is the Avengers, but every single character has its own individual backstory and background and lore and world building and characters that are only specific to those characters. And like there are in Overwatch 2, they're introducing a new character for Arya. This Kiriko girl who uses magic. Magic has never been in Overwatch before, and now there's magic. So now they have Doctor Stranges in the goddamn Overwatch universe, you know? And then you have like the Captain America allegory with Soldier 76, the Superman allegory with Soldier 76, and his plotline now is that he used to be basically Captain America, super soldier kind of thing, and now he's like a disgraced ex-Overwatch who's trying to find out why Overwatch really came down and the conspiracy behind Reyes and Talos and Reaper or whatever. And then you have his duality with Reaper and Farah, who works for like the military, blah 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 blah, blah. And like Lucio, who's a goddamn DJ, and Diva, who works for a set group of people over there in Korea, another team who fights giant Omni Godzillas that have nothing to do with anything, and then the Junkers of Junkertown. Yeah, I mean, Soldier 76 is pretty good looking. I agree with that. And then you have like the Japanese drama of Genji, who is like half robot for some reason. I don't remember specifically why. These are comic books. These are comic books, and that's why I love them. That's why I found the lore of Overwatch super interesting, because I eventually thought it would mean something. I thought it would eventually lead to something, but it never did. It never did. You know, there was a comic book planned, like a full-on graphic novel planned for Overwatch, and I remember being so vividly excited for this. I keep using the word vividly. Being so like excited about this graphic novel being released that you could buy physically, that was going to have a story in the Overwatch universe, and it was like it wasn't chunks of little information. It wasn't one-off comic books. It wasn't one-off CG animatics that were incredible, or whatever animations that were incredible and whatnot. It was a full-blown storyline in a graphic novel, and I was super excited because I was like, oh, this is gonna mean something. This is gonna lead something. This is like, they're gonna do something with the lore. They're gonna tie things together, blah blah blah. And then that thing got canceled. That comic book got canceled. It was never released, which you know, and that was to me like one of the first signs that like Overwatch was never gonna lead anywhere with his story. And that's Overwatch is one of the reasons that I'm super bitter about online multiplayer stories, where it's like, oh yeah, you have all these like interactive and like cool worlds that never lead anywhere because they can't end because it's a video game, MMO that like massive multiplayer that has to continue on forever, so they can't be an ending, you know. And it's like, ugh, whatever, so frustrating, you know. But yeah, I don't know. While I was dating my ex, she was really obsessed with like shipping culture in Overwatch, which I was never a super big fan of. But like, she was a big Meg Hanso shipper, which is McCree. Sorry to dead name you, McCree, but Cole Cassidy here and Hanso. People were very vivid about shipping those two characters because of the way they interact with each other in game and stuff. They were like very rowdy, like, you know, kind of stern, older man who were kind of withered and a little older but still super hot, and they were both like, you know, opposites but like in a similar way, where like Cole Cassidy over here is like a, you know, gun-toting cowboy who's like, you know, kind of tired and old, but he's still, you know, like a bit of an Indiana Jones character. And then Anso is like gruff and old and all about honor and, you know, kind of tsundere is the way that people, you know, believe this relationship would work out as, even though they like barely have anything to do with in the lore, but they know of each other because the voice lines confirm that they know of each other and the way they talk to each other. But you know, people used to ship those too harshly. What was the other ship that was super popular? Pharmacy Classic. Farah and Mercy. Which is a little weird because I believe Mercy is quite a bit older than Farah. Like Mercy was friends with Farah's mom, Anna. You know, people used to ship them mostly because they worked really well in game. And like in game, Farah Mercy duo was really OP. So a lot of the times when you're playing like competitive, you would call it out. Oh, there's a pharmacy. Classic. And you know, we gotta deal with the Mercy so we can deal with the Farah. That's too strong. I mean, you know, it changed throughout the seasons, but that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, there's one more thing actually that's lore related that I do want to talk about. A lot of people will quote Bridget over here as the downfall of Overwatch, as the big downfall of. Wow, I don't have any legendary skins for Bridget. Wow, that's interesting. But a lot of people. I'm not gonna get super into it, like the history. You can watch videos about this. There's a good video called "The Downfall of Overwatch" or whatever that you can watch. That'll give you the history of a lot of the choices and stuff that I kind of talked about briefly, but a lot of the choices and the way that like the community reacted to them, and which kind of led to Overwatch losing all relevancy. I'm not gonna get into those specifics, but one of those. If you watch that video, one of those that they bring up a lot is Bridget. Bridget is a healing character who is really OP. She was nerfed around 1,000 times. I believe even now in current day Overwatch, after being nerfed 1,000,000 times, she is still playable and people still like her. And she's still considered meta, I think, even though what the heck is the Overwatch meta? There's this guy's Twitch channel. But the reason she was super OP is that she had a combo that was, she was a healer character who could absolutely 1v1 solo any other character in the game, like every single DPS character in the game. And the way that it would work is that she had a shield, so she had extreme protection, and she like worked as a supplementary tank. Even though she was a healer character, she would go around, like you had her healing ability where you would point at someone, you would give it. She would heal pretty well. So she was super useful to use as that. And also, she was super useful to use as an off tank because her combo was, you would bring this up, you would shield bash, you would hit twice, 1, 2, and then you would like press the L shift, like attack, and it would automatically kill someone. So you'd be able to like time that in an incredible manner where it's like boom, 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 and that person would be dead. As you can see, they've nerfed them quite a bit. Also, these are slower now than they used to be. And a lot of people kind of like see Bridget as the harbinger of the end of Overwatch. And one of the main reasons people started hating Overwatch, because she was so OP, and there were so many other characters that were so annoyingly OP, and the balancing was, you know, disgraceful and all over the place and bad. But I will always have a weird connection to Bridget here. It makes me sad that the community overall sees her in such a negative light, because Bridget here I can actually look this up. Overwatch Heroes release dates. All right, it should be easy enough. Here we go. Yeah. Here's all the original ones, and then we get Anna, Sombra, Arisa, Doomfist, Moira, Bridget. I guess Bridget released all the way in 2018. I had a really strong connection to Bridget because in I believe this comic book here, which I don't remember when this was released, maybe it'll say here, but it was definitely like quite a while before it came out. Is there a way that I can zoom in real quick? Yeah, I can zoom in. There should be a thing down here. Blizzard 2016. No, that's the release date. Okay, whatever. This must have come out like 2018. Maybe it came out 2016. But I believe that in this comic, you get a quick, brief look towards the end. Maybe it is in this one. Huh. Interesting. I believe it was definitely a Torbjorn comic, from what I remember. Let me take a quick look around. Let's see if I can find it, because I do want to find it, since I have a pretty strong connection to this. If it wasn't this one, is it Dragon Slayer? Maybe it was Reinhardt's. I know it was. It had Tormion in it. There she is. Oh. No, but this wasn't it either. Are these in like release order? I think they are. Huh, that's interesting. That's not how I remember it being. But maybe it was this one. Yeah, I remember this comic. I remember there being a Torbjorn comic that was like a holiday comic. Let me see. Take a look at this. Yeah, I might just be able to look it up. Overwatch. Bridget first appearance. Let's look at the wiki. Yeah, Microsoft Edge. I ain't about that. Not now. The Bridget was introduced playable character in March 28. It did appear in Dragon Slayer in issue. Oh, I guess it was this one. Huh. Interesting. I remember it being differently. But I, unlike many of the fans, and I'm not saying I'm unique, there were a lot of people who were, you know, avid Overwatch comic books and lore enjoyers. The average Chad Overwatch lore enjoyers. I read all these comics pretty vividly because I wanted to know all the lore, and she appeared in this, and I remember thinking she was really cute. You know, this was 2016, I think, and she wasn't released till 2018 in like the game. So like I remember like seeing this girl and being like, that's a cute white girl with freckles. I kind of like her. I like that she's skinny, and I like that she looks a little gross. You know, well, not gross. That's a rude way of putting it. But she looks a little unnatural, like a little what's the term? Like a little not based. Her body type is not the norm that you would see in like video games and stuff and like popular media. You know, she's a lanky, tall woman, and I remember reading this comic and being like, oh wow, this girl is super cool. And I remember like talking to some of my friends being like, oh, have you read that comic? And nobody had, because nobody reads these goddamn comics. And I was like, oh, there's this girl Bridget in it. I think she's really cute. It'd be really cool if she was like a hero in the game or something at some point. Wouldn't that be really cool? What a far-fetched dream of mine to believe that they would ever add this funky little tall woman into Overwatch. And 2 years later they did, and she ended up being the most hated character in all of Overwatch. And I'll never not be upset about that, because I thought she was so cute, and like I was really a fan of her design in the comics. And also like another aspect of it that I wasn't. Is it F1? What the heck is the button that I pressed to change heroes? I don't remember anymore. It's been too many years. Oh god, I'm emoting. 2 of 5, escape. This one. Space. Any of these? Hero. It's H. Thank you, CL. I remember being somewhat upset that they made Bridget, like, they got rid of a lot of her dimples in the official thing. They made her muscular, which I was into, but they made her less lanky and she had a more generic body type. I wasn't super upset about it, but like I remember while she was coming out, there being some conversation about that, about how they took the lanky weird character from the comic books and they just made her more generic Overwatch hot, you know. But I also remember being really excited because like, oh my god, it's the Bridget girl. I remember saying like, wouldn't it be really cool if they made her a hero? And then, you know, she destroyed the game and ruined everything. Which is sad to me, because I don't know, I'll always hold a special place in my heart for her because of, you know, that connection that I had previous to her being unlocked. You know, I was like one of like maybe 5 people. That's an exaggeration, but I was one of 5 people who knew that she existed 2 years before her release. So like, I don't know, there was like a connection there and I really liked it. I also remember Hammond being a big deal for me because I remember a lot of these characters were foretold. Wrecking Crew here, Hammond. A lot of these characters were like theorized and lored about between voice lines and other things. And I remember Hammond was like somewhat mentioned in some Winston voice lines or something like that. And people were like, "Oh, is there going to be a hero Hammond?" And people assumed that because Winston was Monkey Man, that Hammond would be like a chimp, like he'd be a normal chimp. But then Hammond came out and he was a hamster, and that was really cool. And I don't know. What's her name here? Ash. She's a fun character to play. I have connections to a lot of these characters. I could probably talk on and about each individual one of these characters and how I remember feeling about them at the time. Orisa. Here, actually, you know what? Let me show you all something. If we go to YouTube real quick, 1 second. I'm gonna full screen myself just in case that I show something I'm not supposed to. 1 sec. It should be fine though. Here we go. I made some Overwatch content. I was still making, Let's Plays and stuff. I've talked about that in the past. I've been streaming for a year at this point, but I have made Let's Plays and stuff on the internet for since I was 9 or whatever. But I didn't stop while I was playing Overwatch. I made a lot of content at the time, and I made a few Overwatch videos. None that I'm gonna watch now because that's cringe. But yeah, I gave that a shot. In my main channel here, where I have my script and content now, and I just have all my other videos unlisted now. I have a few videos here. Most of them being 1, 2, 3, 4 little loot box opening videos, or I would save up my loot boxes throughout the event or whatever, and then I would open them for the anniversary event and the archive events, the uprising event there, and the New Year's Lunar New Year event, and like Christmas event, all that other stuff, blah 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 blah. I made these as I was playing them. Some of these are even look Spooky Boogie 2017. I made an Overwatch episode for Junket Science Revenge for the second time around that I was playing it. It's so funny to look back on. I made a few of these. None of them ever got any views or anything. But I made one for Sombra coming out. I made one where I set up 100 loot boxes for the first Christmas event. I believe this was the first one, yeah, 2016. And then I made just an edited 55-minute video of me playing Overwatch, as well as some Year of the Rooster stuff where I played Capture the Flag, this Platinum video where I was never that good at Overwatch, but I was bronze for a long time and I wanted to get to platinum, so I made a video. Wait, is there something between bronze and platinum? I think there is something in between bronze and platinum. I think I was the one after bronze. I think I was silver, maybe. I don't remember what it's called, but I was trying to get to platinum. Whatever. But I made a video about that. I made a video doing some loot boxes here. I made a video when Orisa came out for the first time. Uprising archive event, and then the anniversary. I did a video for the Lunar Horizon Lunar Connolly release, and then I did a Spooky Boogie episode for 2017, which is interesting to look back on. These have comments. I think I know who commented here. Can I take a look at that? Will it actually let me see that? Here, I'll click on that. I don't want to hear myself. Hey, look at that. That's fun. Oh, nice. Thank you for the support. This person here, sadly, I don't talk to them anymore. Not very close to them anymore, but back then we were pretty close, this person and I. But I hope whatever they are, they're doing good. Whatever it is. Look at these Twitters and my outro song. What the heck music was I using at the end here? Oh, I was using old I Am Sleeplim tracks. Okay, we can talk about that maybe some other time. But yeah, that's interesting to look back on. But yeah, I played this for a long time. I stopped making content around. I mean, I didn't make that much content on it. I would spring it in there every once in a while. Nothing I ever made was super popular back then. It isn't still. But But in between Final Fantasy videos, I would put in some Overwatch stuff. Then and there. And then 2017 Spooky Boogie, I did some stuff. I believe there's another comment here. I think this was from my ex, so I'm not gonna click on that because I don't want to show their username. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to look at. Oh my god, she looks so weird. Orisa here because I have that Archives event skin, which is weird. But this man is a goddamn walrus. But I don't know.
I'm a one-man apocalypse.
I don't really have that much else to say, but I guess I could go and talk about... Actually, you know what? Before I finish anything, let me look at my career profile one final time. Times played. This doesn't feel right. There's something about this that feels right, because I remember these being way longer. Also, apparently Genji is my most played character, which I don't believe is true. I feel like Pharah was always my most played character, but I did play a lot of Genji towards the end of my career there. Can we look at the season? All the game modes? Or did they get rid of that? Because I feel like you used to be able to look at your seasons. It says I have 500 hours, but I think, I don't know. I talked about this earlier in the stream, but I remember having a conversation when they first added the times played statistics, and it's saying that I had close to 1,000 hours. I feel like something might have changed in between there and there to make me lose a few hours. But it doesn't matter. Whatchamacallit. I feel like you used to be able to look at your competitive, like season to season kind of thing, but I guess not. Or maybe they got rid of that. Bridget. That would have been fun to do. Look at my percentages there. Well, whatever. So long. I haven't played that game in a long time, so it is what it is. Let me change to Mr. Genji here real quick. Oh hey, I remember this kid. Is Genji still good? I played Genji quite a bit, and I wasn't super bad at him, you know? I could actively like play him in competitive settings and do pretty good with him. Like do good enough that people wouldn't ask me to switch. Which is, you know, the curse of the Genji. But it is what it is. I guess I should probably just get into end this stream, since like I said, it would be a shorter one. Where I like the downfall of Overwatch for me specifically. Here, if we're gonna do that, let's do it while playing my final game of Overwatch. You know, because this game is about to be deleted and never come back. Tank damage support. Let me do a quick little quick match to play a little bit of Overwatch and feel good about it or whatever. But as far as me personally, when it came to Overwatch, I had a bit of a different experience for most people's when it comes to like quitting Overwatch and you know, leaving it behind. Mine was kind of rooted on the fact that, like, as I mentioned previously, I had this big group of people that I used to play with for like a year and a half, and I had some really wonderful times and a lot of wonderful memories around that time. And I was watching like YouTubers and all that stuff. And yes, there are the certain aspects that around 2019 where I quit playing Overwatch, the game was in a pretty huge downfall. It was the third year Overwatch had been out. Closer to a 4-year there. Whatchamacallit. And there were a lot of things that were like frustrating the fan base. A lot of heroes coming out that were frustrating to play against. Bridget, Orisa's, the Doomfist, you know, a lot of these annoying heroes with annoying loadouts. That's the term that I was looking for earlier. Thank you, ZL, for remembering. While you wait, practice range, skirmish, sure, whatever. I haven't skirmished in a long time, but oh god, I forgot to change the damage. I was looking for Genji on this side, but he's not there anymore because they mixed two of the characters. They missed the defense and attack characters. I completely forgot about that. But I don't know if there's that many people playing Overwatch 1 right now. There might be. It probably makes sense because you know it's the final final week or so of Overwatch, so it makes sense that people would be like into that. But oh, okay. Pyramid, so I'm not gonna kill them. I'm just gonna run around. But whatchamacallit. The general, how do I voice line? I haven't done that in a long time. Is it B or C? Ah, my emote. Gee, what's my voice lines? Oh, here's my emotes. Amusing. Yeah, I never did get a Mana. It's a classic. But whatchamacallit. The general fandom started giving up on Overwatch around the time that I gave up on Overwatch, maybe a little bit later, for a variety of reasons. Like I said, heroes being added that were balanced incorrectly or balanced badly, heroes that were annoying to play against, like the Doomfists and the Orisas, and a lot of these heroes that had a lot of consistent abilities that would kind of mess with your Overwatch experience. I actually watched a video recently of someone playing Valorant talk on TikTok about them talking about getting overwatched. That in Valorant sometimes specific hero abilities or specific weapon abilities will lead you to get into a state of being constantly like juggled around, and they called that in the community being overwatched. Which is so funny to me because yeah, that was the Overwatch experience, you know. The Overwatch experience was getting juggled and not being able to play because you're getting sleep darted and Ryan Hearted hammered down and then booed by Lucio and then Orisa something or other. Here, I should actually try to get Genji before anybody else does. Yeah, it's really funny. There was a mixture of that. There was the fact that the game was in its third year, and this was the third year that they were repeating the same events. You know, they were doing the summer events over again. They were doing the Halloween events over again. It was the same event over and over again. And the only event that was different was the Archives event, because the Archive event came with you know, it came with like new cutscenes and all that other stuff, but everything else was just very samey, blah 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 blah. There was that aspect. There were the fact that the game was updating a lot slower nowadays. There hadn't been a new hero in a little while, or the new heroes people didn't care about. So a lot of like content creators were kind of dropping out. They just stopped playing Overwatch. They stopped playing Overwatch. They stopped caring. Blah 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 blah. The big ones that I played at the time, the Mew Silks, is this gonna work? Okay, there's no. Oh, there is a shooter that I guess they didn't fall for the oldest trick in the book, but whatchamacallit. But there was just a lot of mixed mixture of things of why the Generan like fan base kind of gave up on Overwatch. I should probably have run away there, but whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm talking here. But my specific reason had to do with some of that. But it was mostly the fact that, like I said, I stopped playing. I broke up with my ex at the time, and then I stopped talking to a lot of the Overwatch people that I was playing with at the time. You know, and the game became really lonely to me after that. For a few months, I just kind of played Overwatch by myself for the first time in a really long time, and it felt really bad. It felt really sad, you know. And like the community wasn't there anymore, so yeah, I had previously for a long time played Overwatch myself after my original set of IRL friends stopped playing. But you know, it was different this time. The community for the game wasn't there anymore. The overall fan base excitement wasn't there. Whatchamacallit. And like I didn't have anyone to play with, you know, and it felt really sad. I'm bad. I'm bad at the video game. I'm bad at the video game. I'm bad at the video game. I'm also out of here. Well, I'm still alive. But, I don't know. It just felt really sad. And I remember vividly during the third archive event, where it had been a few months since I had any friends to really play with. I waited for the archive event because that was always my favorite event. It was the lore event, you know? So it made sense to me to play Overwatch around the time, to wait for that final archive event. How do I fight against Baptiste here? Also, what the heck is this giant thing in front of me? But I finished the final archive event. I played it a few times. I like learned the lore there. I probably should have used my ultimate. But I remember after finishing that final archive event, kind of thinking to myself, I think this is it, you know? Like, I think this is the end of Overwatch for me, because I'm not interested anymore. It's not bringing the same kind of joy for me anymore. And like, I don't have anyone to play it with, and it just feels sad to play. Like, I just stopped, you know? And I stopped a little bit before, like, most people stop. It wasn't until a little bit after that I feel like most people gave up on the game. I shouldn't do this. There's no reason for me to do this. This is really bad. This is bad. I'm bad at the video game. I'm bad at the video game. Whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I remember that being pretty sad for me, because like I said, I gave up a good 3, almost 4 years of my life to this video game, and I had come across what I realized like would be like, you know, the game isn't doing it for me anymore. The game is over. I can't do this anymore, you know? So I just stopped. During that archive event, I played it a little bit. I think I maybe came back for the release of Baptiste, and I played them a little bit, but just enough to see what they did. And then that was it. That was the game for me. I stopped playing it, and the community soon died afterwards. It started slowing down, and then eventually it led to the 2020 or 2021 big Blizzard scandal, Blizzard Activision scandal of the time. Jesus. I forgot that I can stab. I keep forgetting that I can stab. That's like a thing I used to do a lot. And then the game died, you know, after the Activision stuff with the sexual assault allegations and the horrible workplace environment stuff. It all just led to the game dying. And it is having a bit of a resurgence right now because of Overwatch 2. I just turned off my my audio completely, which I shouldn't have done. I'm just focusing on talking here instead of actually playing the game, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's having a little bit of a resurgence now because of the oh yeah, you can endorse players. I completely forgot that that's a thing. But someone endorsed me? Why would you endorse me? I didn't do anything. I wasn't good at the video game. But I don't know. It's hard to look back at it. I have a lot of really fun memories for this game. It like dominated an era of my life, which I will probably never get back. I met a lot of great people. I had a girlfriend. I met people IRL. I had friends. I had some of my real life friends. Shot caller, according to who? I had some of my real life best friends. Like playing with this game a lot. I have a lot of memories. I had a lot of different phases in my life that I can deeply like remember what specific stage Overwatch was in while I was playing that. Here, you know what? Let's play deathmatch. I used to play deathmatch so much back in the day, because it was one of my favorite game modes. But whatchamacallit. But I don't know. It just feels weird to look back on it and think about the fact that this game's about to die and that Overwatch 1 isn't gonna exist anymore. It's funny to look back because I remember Overwatch 2 being announced, and it being announced as a oh, Overwatch 2 is gonna be a PvE single player experience, and then the news slowly became, oh, actually Overwatch 2 is gonna be a new Overwatch, and it's gonna be single player, sorry, multiplayer, and we're gonna get rid of Overwatch. And it's like, all right, you know, I stopped caring about the game for way too long at that point. I can still do this, baby, for way too long at that point in order for me to like care or like follow the Overwatch 2 news in any real manner. But it's still interesting to look back on, and it's a little sad that Overwatch 1 is gonna be gone. It's actually really funny because while I was setting up the stream today, there isn't a category on Twitch for Overwatch 1 anymore. I had to set this as Overwatch 2 because Overwatch doesn't exist anymore on here because this game is about to be deleted forever, which just sucks, you know? It sucks to look back on. But it makes sense, you know? It's Blizzard's trying really hard to change, and there are some controversies around Overwatch 2, which I'm not really gonna get into, about its battle pass system, about unlocking heroes through the weird Overwatch thing, about it being free to play and having like a battle pass that you can pay for to unlock heroes, and the way that it's deleting. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Can we change heroes? Oh, that was my bad. Ignore me. Thank you. I meant to play as Genji. But I don't know. It's interesting to look back on, you know? What am I calling it? I'm still waiting for plays, aren't I? So I don't think this counts as anything. Am I still good at the video game? No, I am not in any way good at the video game. I'm about to get blasted from the back there. But not enough players finding a new game, thanks. That was me. But like I said previously, I don't know. I'm not interested in Overwatch 2. I'm not gonna play it. I don't have time for that kind of thing in my life right now. But I will always kind of like cherish and look back. You like my Nepal flag banner here? I don't remember why I said that, but it must have been funny. But I don't know, it's sad to look back on those days and kind of remember that it's kind of gone now. And I know there are a lot of people who are genuinely hoping and longing that Overwatch 2 will bring back Overwatch into the front view, and it'll be an incredibly successful game again, and they can relieve those moments. But I don't think that's gonna happen. Honestly, I kind of feel like Overwatch 2 is not gonna succeed, specifically if it's gonna have a big boom for a little while there, and I feel like it's gonna die out fast. It really depends on the amount of content that it's getting and the way that people react to it. But a lot of people have really negative opinions on Overwatch these days, you know? But it is what it is. Like, I'm excited to see what will come of it, but like I said, I will not be a part of it. Since I'm not interested in playing this game anymore. But, there is a metro around here somewhere. Alright. Why am I bad at the video game? Why am I bad at the video game? Thank you. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Bye-bye. But, I heard recently the art director. Yeah, the long-term art director or some kind of like big figure in the Overwatch world or in the database quit. You know, I don't know. It doesn't seem favorable. But I will always have a really special place in my heart for Overwatch. Thanks. Oh wow, that actually just reminded me. When I first started playing Overwatch, and I didn't know how to play single player or FPS in any way, I remembered whatchamacallit, trying to play Genshin for the first time and being told by a lot of people, oh, Genshin's a really high ceiling character, you know, like that kind of thing. But I was still messing around in quick play before I had enough levels to play competitive with Genji. And I didn't know what I was doing at all. I was trying to find out how the character worked. And I remember I did the L shift, you know, dash on just a group of people, and I killed 3 players in one go. And I remember being so like excited, you know, about like, whoa, that's crazy, how did I do that? And it was such a good like Overwatch memory for me. Because of the, it was that joy of discovery that you get at the beginning of any kind of game, where you know, you're trying out things and you're finding out how they work, and it feels super good to do so, and you like figure out like ways to combo your ultimates with other characters, or like how to optimally use a character, and you get like a really cool moment and you remember it forever, you know. And that Genji triple kill with one single slide, I did that many times, specifically when I became better at the game, you know. But I'm out of here. But you know, that's first time I did that when I didn't know what I was doing. What was the most memorable time I ever did it, you know? I need this heals. I'm out of here. Okay, I'm dead. People on Twitter are saying that no one wants to draw his character naked anymore, so he could. Okay. I return to the fight. I don't know, man. I have a lot of melancholy in my heart when it comes to Overwatch and the way that it ended up going, you know? Who is attacking me currently? Oh, was that a blizzard? I completely forgot about that ultimate. But I don't know. I'm probably gonna end the thing after I finish this deathmatch here, because I basically like talked about everything I really wanted to talk about. There might have been some specifics there and there that I didn't really talk about. But it's not the biggest of deals, you know. Shouldn't have done that for that just one poor dude, but either way, it doesn't matter.
Enemy needs 5 kills to win.
Get out of my life, dude. Nobody like ya. Oh, thanks.
Enemy needs 4 kills to win. I return
Whatchamacallit. Maybe I should try to win this as my final goodbye to Overwatch. I don't think I will though. That McCree is killing, or Full Cassidy, whatever the heck your name is. I can still do that. I can still strafe. Damn it. I'm farming him. I'm letting him farm me. But I played a lot of deathmatch. There was a point in the game's like, you know, period where I stopped caring about competitive as much as I did for a certain time, you know. And like, I love deathmatch, so I would just come in here and just play quite a few games of deathmatch a week to try to get those loot boxes kind of thing. And I don't know, interesting to look back on. Oh, and I'm dead. Well, that's my Overwatch experience, dying and being bad at the video game. I used to be way better at it, but it doesn't matter. Let's look at my final play of the game. Not my final play of the game, but the final play in the game. Is he gonna do anything exciting? Alright, he killed a turret, and he killed a guy afterwards. Gee, my man killed turret and guy afterwards, baby. What a hero, what a legend. Let's get out of here. But yeah, I used to farm these a lot. I played a lot of deathmatch, and I would get all these weekly wins to get those loot boxes. I got a lot of loot boxes. Like I saw, there were some YouTube videos there. I had a lot of YouTube videos about me just playing, getting 2 boxes or unboxing loot boxes. But as far as my general Overwatch like journey or thoughts, that's really all I have to say about it. This song will always have a really special place in my heart. I even watched that brand new Overwatch 2 like teaser trailer like for the gameplay, and it had a newer rendition of this song, and honestly like it kind of hyped me up a little bit. You know, like I'm not gonna play it, but like it made me feel excited. You know, it's like, oh man, I loved Overwatch. I loved Overwatch. It's all I thought about for so many years, and like defines such a big part of my life, with specific people and specific like game modes and character releases and fandom stuff and lore stuff and YouTubers. You know, I look back at those times really fondly, you know, even if I shouldn't to a certain extent, because honestly, Overwatch took so much of my life away that I should have focused on like doing stuff that I wanted to do to like advance my life and career. But instead, I played Overwatch every day. But I don't know, it was fun. In the same way that a lot of people have extreme memories of playing World of Warcraft or some MMO growing up and meeting people, Overwatch is the closest thing I'll ever have to that. And I don't think I don't know. I'm only 25. I'm not that old. But sometimes I feel like I'm so focused on so many things these days, and I don't have that many friends that I like cherish as much as I did back then. So there's a part of me that genuinely believes that I don't think I'll ever experience this again. You know, I don't think I'll ever get this deeply rooted into a community, into a specific game, ever again. And nothing will ever dominate my life as much as this game ever did. You know, so like there's a certain sadness to that, because we all like to look back on our childhood, even though this game came out when I was an adult. But we'll look back on our childhood and remember those times we spent too much time on a certain game. And a lot of people have stories about being a child, being a middle schooler, and playing online games a lot with certain people or with certain games, certain fandoms. And I can't really relate to that a lot. The closest thing I ever have to that is Overwatch. And I don't know. I don't think I'll ever have this again. But who knows, you know? That it seems like a bit of a downer thing to say here at the end. But I don't know. I just don't feel like I will. But yeah, that's that. Go to Nepal. All my homies love Nepal. Mess it up. And for the final time, I guess I'll exit game here. Which is weird to think about. Spent a lot of time here. Did a lot of this. I played a lot of practice range. I played a lot of competitive. I did a lot of groups. I met a lot of people. I did a lot of things. I followed this community pretty vividly, but this is the final time I'll do this, because even if I get into Overwatch 2, it won't be the same game. Overwatch is over. Hashtag Overwatch is over. I guess this is the final time I'll be logging off here. Here, 1 second. Let's use general chat for one time. Final. Yeah, look at that keyword, final time. Playing Overwatch. Unknown command final? What do you mean? I wasn't trying to do a command. Here, I'll do can believe this game is gonna die in a week. Let's do that. Anybody in here with me who want to have a quick conversation about the demise of Overwatch? It's funny. I remember I have the name CL here. It's gonna be sad. I haven't played in like 3 years. Just wanted to come in today to say goodbye to it. Wanted to come in today to say goodbye to it. Let's have a final wholesome general chat discussion with some people. A nice sign off. Man, there's gotta be someone. These people are feeling the exact same feeling I'm feeling right now. That's so sad. shut down October 2nd. Good luck, everyone. Good times. Or good times, I guess. Anyhow, man, I can't believe I just did that to myself. I feel like crying. Oh, that's sad. But yeah, General here. They're apparently getting. Nope, stop it, CL. You're not crying over goddamn Overwatch today. General here. Apparently, the general chat, they're getting rid of it. For the new game, and which makes sense because it served absolutely no purpose. Honestly, you would mostly see people like do weird sex stuff on here. People would like roleplay here. It was cringe. You would like leave a chat, or you would leave a competitive game, and it would bring you here, and immediately you would get weird roleplay stuff in the general chat, which is so funny to think about. But yeah, final time playing Overwatch, I guess here. It's weird to say. Oh man, I just choked myself. God damn it, where's my tissues? That's so stupid. Why am I crying over Overwatch? But yeah, that's that. Let me send this game off. Not Overwatch New Hero Ryza gameplay. Thanks, CL. Thanks, Chin. I hope they're doing okay, whatever they are. Let me play, let me make myself sad again by playing the Overwatch theme real quick. Just send it off. One final time. Oh, wow, that's nostalgic. This game isn't even that old, but this is the music. That beginning part of the Overwatch theme is what they would play at the beginning of every single like developer update with Mr. Jeff Kaplan. That was his name, right? Who also quit Overwatch. He was the community's golden child. Yeah. We finally know why Jeff Kaplan quit Blizzard. Yeah, they left like a year ago. He was the community's golden child. He didn't have any like sexual assault allegations after him. You know, and like people really loved it because he had a huge he was like one of those like Blizzard old school people who used to work on the World of Warcraft expansions and other stuff for a long time. He was one of the last few remaining like old gear or old like developers who still worked at Blizzard, and he quit recently, you know, which is sad to think about. But I watched this video. I've watched this Wired video interview of him. I used to watch all his new like when new heroes would be released or new game modes, he would make videos on the Play Overwatch channel, like talking about them, developer updates. What are the most popular videos here? Yeah, they're all you know, like the CG animated shorts. And I do remember the origin story for Doomfist had like full-on anime, which was really cool. I completely forgot about that. But developer update introducing Doomfist. Yeah, I used to watch these so religiously. Completely forgot that Overwatch came to the Switch. But yeah, I guess that's that. I just wanted to give those quick thoughts on my Overwatch experience. I talked about basically, I feel like everything I wanted to. Honestly, I should have made a list of things that I wanted to talk about, because I'm definitely going to end this stream and feel like, damn it, I should have talked about that memory or that specifically hero or that specific thing, you know? But I feel like I talked about everything that I really wanted to. I talked about those beginning years, my connection to the fandom, the lore stuff, the people that I met on there and some stories related to it, IRL stuff. And eventually why I kind of decided to stop playing Overwatch. But yeah, I don't know, it's sad to think about, you know, but also like not in a bad way, you know, like maybe Overwatch 2 will do really well. Maybe I'll get into it, who knows. I don't think I will. If the PvE ever actually releases, I will play the PvE. I love lore, and honestly I think Overwatch doesn't have like a good story because it doesn't really have a story. It just has lore. It has fragmented pieces of world building. A lot of them that I've always felt like they could have done something cool with, but they never ended up doing anything with. And maybe once that PvE releases, they will do something with it, and I'll play it. I'll play it because I love Overwatch. I have huge connection to it and a lot of memories to it. But you know, as far as things stand right now, I have no interest in playing Overwatch 2. I have no interest in going back to Overwatch. I have no interest in streaming the Overwatch. I have too many things IRL or things that I want to do, and Overwatch is just gonna get in the way of that. Maybe I don't know if the audio is overpowering, but I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. But yeah, I guess that's that. Thank you for watching. Just a quick little video here since we are coming to the end of this month and starting Spooky Boogie this upcoming October 1st, which is only in like 3-4 days. So I wanted to make a quick little video here to commemorate the end of Overwatch because I'm not gonna get another time to do it, and go in there and play it for the last time, as well as you know, just talk about my experiences with it. It wasn't really for anything. There weren't many people here. You were here, Sal. But you know, I didn't really do this because I felt like it would be something that people would be interested in watching. I think I mostly did this because I wanted to like to archive my feelings, you know, because this game meant a lot to me and it defined a big part of my life, and it's coming to an end and I'm never gonna get to play it ever again. So, you know, I wanted to get these out while the feelings were fresh. Maybe I can look back at this video in a few years and remember, you know, how I was feeling at this specific time. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day. I will be streaming on Saturday, on Friday, September the 31st, the 30th. What the heck is it? Yeah, September the 30th, the day after tomorrow. I will be streaming because I want to do a quick little other stream like this one, talking about my 1-year anniversary of streaming. So I'll just do that. I'm sure a lot of people won't be interested in that, but I'll do it nonetheless. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you had an absolutely wonderful time. I hope Overwatch maybe succeeds and PvE comes out and we'll get to play it and everything will be good. And you know, but it'll never be the same. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful night. I keep saying the same thing over and over again because honestly I kind of don't want to think about ending this, but it is what it is. Have a good night, everybody. See you soon. That's like the 5th time I said that. Bye bye.